My beloved child, pause for a moment and listen. Do not rush ahead nor try to fill the silence with noise or activity, for it is in the quiet that I am speaking. When the echoes of the world fade away, when you have no words left to pray, no tears left to shed, that is when my voice resounds deepest within your soul. I have never been distant, never taken a single step back from you, not even for one breath. You think I am silent, but in truth I am speaking in the language of stillness, the language only broken souls can hear. Do not fear the silence, my child, for it is not emptiness. It is the cradle of my presence. The movements of heaven often unfold in quietness like seeds sprouting beneath the soil or light rising behind the night. So it is with the work I am doing for you. It does not need to be announced, for it is being carried out in a secret place where only you and I dwell. When I am silent, it is not because I have forgotten you. It is because I am doing something far beyond your understanding. You see the darkness, but I am weaving light within it. You sense the distance, but I am shortening it with a love that surpasses your sight. I know you have sat through the night, your hand over your heart, whispering, "Lord, are you still here?" And I was there, not far away, but within that very sigh. I heard even the words you could not form. Every sob, every tightening of your chest in despair, I felt them all. Not one tear has fallen without touching my hand. You are not forgotten, not abandoned. In the stillness, I am rebuilding you quietly, yet steadfastly, like a potter shaping clay upon the wheel, adjusting every curve with patience. My hands have never stopped touching you. I am crafting within you a new vessel, a soul of endurance and light that no trial can extinguish. Sometimes I allow the silence to linger, not to punish you, but to free you from the noise of fear and draw you back to my heartbeat. You have grown accustomed to human voices, but seldom recognize mine in the gentle breeze. I do not speak through thunder or storm, but through the still small voice, just as I once spoke to Elijah on Mount Horeb. My child, if you quiet yourself, you will hear. You will feel me not with your ears, but with your soul. The moments you think you are most alone are the moments I am closest. When you are weakest, my strength surrounds you the most. I do not ask you to be strong all the time. There are moments when all I desire is for you to sit still so that I may hold you in the embrace of silence. In that embrace I do not speak much, but I heal deeply. The wounds you dare not touch, I am touching. The corners you hide away, I am illuminating. This silence is not meant to destroy you, it is refining you. It strips away illusions, cleanses what is unnecessary, and brings you back to the pure essence of your soul, the part made in my image. Remember, when I created the world, I did not begin with noise, but with a word spoken from eternity's stillness. Out of the silence of nothingness came the light, and from the silence within your soul, I too will create a new universe. Do not run from the quiet. Let it speak to you, teach you, guide you. When you learn to rest in me, you will understand that silence is not emptiness. It is where I dwell. You have often thought that I act through grand miracles, but true wonder lies in the simple moments when you breathe without fear, when your heart dares to hope again, when your soul stops condemning itself. That is my miracle, the restoration of your soul through stillness. And one day when you look back, you will see it was in those seasons you thought you were abandoned that I was deepening your foundation of faith and planting seeds stronger than ever before. Stay in my presence. Believe that this silence is a sacred song, a melody I am singing over your soul. It is not meaningless. It is the prelude to a new season. You think I am slow, but I am arranging every detail perfectly. Everything will become clear in its appointed time. When the sun rises, you will understand that the night was never your enemy. It was the veil I used to cover you while I worked. My beloved, do not try to open the doors I have closed. Do not fear when every other voice falls silent. I am the voice that never ceases. I am training your soul to hear me at a new frequency, the frequency of trust and obedience. When you learn to listen in stillness, you will no longer fear silence, for you will know that in it I am still speaking, still loving, still moving. I know you have waited, prayed, and hoped. There were moments you grew weary, believing your prayers had vanished into nothingness. But my child, not one of your words has been lost. They have ascended to my throne, and I have kept each one, every plea, every tear. As a jeweler guards a precious gem, time does not erode my promises. I am simply waiting for the perfect moment, so that when you receive, you will understand my love, not measured by speed, but by the endurance of grace. Micah 7:8 says, "When I sit in darkness, the Lord will be my light." My child, my light is still shining, even when you cannot yet see it. Darkness cannot overcome it. It is only that your eyes are still adjusting to the glow. You will see, you will understand. Every tear has meaning, every waiting has purpose. And when I speak in the silence, it will not only shift your life, it will awaken the land around you. So be still, listen, trust. This silence is not a full stop, it is a comma before the new chapter. And when I say rise, you will step forward not in confusion but in steady peace, because you will know beyond all doubt that I have never left you. My child, when you walk through days without answers, when you pray endlessly and heaven seems silent, when your waiting wears down your faith, that is when my quiet fire is refining you. Some miracles arrive in thunder, but others are born only in long silence. Do not despise the seasons when nothing seems to move, for within them I am transforming everything. You cannot see the roots growing beneath the earth, yet they sink deeper each day. So it is with your faith. It is taking root in the dark, in the days when you feel nothing, in the hours when all you can do is sigh and whisper, "I still believe." My beloved, I do not use pain to destroy, but to recreate. No precious metal is refined without fire, and no soul becomes steadfast without trial. Every trembling you feel is not collapse, but the rhythm of rebuilding. I am stripping away what no longer serves the coming season, removing from you things that once seemed beautiful but would become burdens if you kept them. You think you are losing, but I see you becoming lighter, freer, closer to the image I envisioned for you from the beginning. There are wounds you have begged me to heal at once, yet I allow them to close slowly, for I am teaching you patience and compassion through them. There are dreams you thought had died, yet I have hidden them in winter, so they may rest until my spring awakens them. When you feel yourself being pruned, remember my word. Every branch that bears fruit, the Father prunes, that it may bear more. Pruning always hurts, but the branch cut back does not die. It is being prepared to bloom brighter than before. I know there are moments when you ask, "Why, Lord, did you let this happen?" But not every sorrow is punishment. Sometimes it is the instrument that opens new depth within your soul. Just as the blacksmith places iron in the fire not to destroy but to strengthen and shape it, I am forging your spirit in the heat of adversity. You are not forgotten in the flames, you are being refined. And I, the refiner, am always near the fire, never taking my eyes off the metal. I know exactly the temperature required to form the perfect shape. I will not let the fire burn too long nor cool too soon. When you cry out, "I can't bear this anymore," I understand. I do not scold, for I know the frailty of your frame. But believe me, I am right there, as I was with the three in the furnace of Babylon. The fire consumed their chains, not their bodies. So too the fire I permit will not destroy you. It will burn away what has bound you. After its heat, you will find yourself free, radiant, and alive. You think I act only when the light shines clear, but in truth I work most powerfully in the dimness. As a seed breaks open only in the dark soil, your soul is unfolding in unseen places. I hear your groaning in the night, and I say, "I am here." I do not ask you to strain to prove your faith. I only ask you to remain faithful. Your quiet endurance in the darkness moves heaven more than any song sung in the daylight. My dear one, there are lessons that can only be learned in solitude. When I take away the things you lean upon, it is not to weaken you, but to show you that I alone am the foundation that cannot be shaken. I know you have placed your trust in people, in outcomes, in dreams, and when they fell apart, you felt as though everything was lost. But in that very loss, you discovered the one thing that can never be lost: me. I remain, and I am still all you need. Do not rush to escape the pain. Let it finish its work. When you allow me to refine you, you will emerge like pure gold, radiant and without blemish. I never waste a trial. Every tear you have shed is counted, every prayer recorded. I keep them as a father keeps the letters of a child far from home. One day you will look back and smile, realizing I answered each one perfectly, not according to your will, but according to mine, which is good, pleasing, and complete. When I slow your pace, it is not to delay, but to protect. Some doors remain closed because what lies beyond them is not yet ready for you. Some people I have removed not to leave you lonely, but because they could not walk with you to the place I have prepared. You think I have taken, but truly I have preserved. My love does not always come in gentle form. Sometimes it wears the face of separation, of a firm no, of prolonged silence. Yet all are woven from the same thread, the thread of mercy. When you weep over what is lost, know that I am watching with a father's heart. I do not stand unmoved before your pain. I weep with you. But as your tears fall, I am sowing seeds of resurrection. For wherever there are tears, life is beginning to grow. When you trust me in the dark, you join with heaven in birthing something new. It is not understanding that builds faith, it is surrender. And when you choose to surrender, you will find peace. Not the kind that comes from everything being resolved, but the peace that comes from knowing I still hold all things. You may think you've gone astray, that you've stepped outside my plan, but remember this, my child. I am the one who turns detours into destiny. Every curve in your path has been permitted by my hand. No matter how far you wander, my reach is longer still. I can gather every fragment, fit them together, and form a new picture. One more beautiful, more profound, more radiant with my glory. You need not fear that you have ruined everything. I am the master of making wonders from what was once broken. My beloved child, let pain become the place where I dwell. Do not cast it away as an enemy. When you bring it to me, I will transform it into a witness. Your wounds will become windows through which my grace shines. Just as Christ still bears the marks of the nails in his resurrected body, you too will carry traces within you, not of agony, but of love redeemed. When you look upon your scars, you will no longer see failure, but victory. My beloved, you are not lost, you are being refined. You are not abandoned, you are being sheltered. You are not rejected, you are being prepared. Everything you are walking through is part of a greater design I ordained long before. Let your heart rest, for I am still writing. The story has not reached its end. It continues, and the next chapter is being written in silence. So do not seek another light before the darkness fades. Remain where you are until I speak. Believe that this fire is temporary, but the glory to come is eternal. Today's silence will become tomorrow's testimony. And when I finish my work for you, others will see you and recognize me. Now open your eyes, for dawn is rising. After the long night, my light is breaking through the layers of mist, touching the places you thought were lifeless. Everything I do moves in rhythm, and when darkness has completed its work, light will take its turn. The night can never last forever, for I have appointed a time for the light to shine. My child, my silent days are never meaningless. They are the prelude to revelation. Every moment you thought I was absent was a moment I was weaving miracles in secret. Now the veil is lifting, and you will see what I have been crafting in the hidden place. I have seen the nights when you bowed your head in exhaustion. I have heard the sighs you dared not speak aloud. I know the quiet questions that echoed in your mind. Why? When will I ever see joy again? And today I say to you, Rise, for your light has come. What you have endured is not an ending, but the threshold of a new beginning. Every tear you thought forgotten has become a seed planted deep in the soil, and now the earth is breaking open. Life is emerging. Every silent prayer, every unseen sacrifice is blooming before my eyes. My dear, I have never overlooked you. If you could see the grand canvas I am painting, you would understand that every cut, every delay, every closed door has its place within the masterpiece. I have used silence to teach you to hear by faith and darkness, to train you to see by the soul. Now your eyes are aligned with my light, and you will perceive what you could not before. Some answers do not arrive as words, but as transformation. When you find that fear no longer rules you, that despair no longer grips you, that is the proof that I have been at work. My silence has birthed in you a strength quiet, yet unshakable, deeper than any thunderous word. My beloved, step out from the shadow of yesterday. What once made you tremble no longer has power. I have lifted the burden from your shoulders. I have replaced your old garments of sorrow, shame, and guilt with a robe of glory. You are no longer the one who fell in the night. You are the one called to stand in the dawn. I have rewritten your name with the ink of mercy. Lift up your head, for no one can revoke what I have decreed. Do not let old memories bind you, for the past has no voice where I have declared, "Behold, I make all things new." In these past days, I have hidden you under the shadow of my wings. I led you through silence, to shield you from things you were not yet strong enough to face. But now I am calling you out from hiding. My light will clothe you like a new mantle. Many will see and marvel, for they never knew that in the darkness I was quietly adorning your soul with the hues of eternity. You need not prove anything. My presence within you will speak for itself. As Moses descended the mountain unaware that his face shone, so will you shine without striving. For it is not you who emit the light, but I the light within you shining through. My child, what I began in stillness will be completed in glory. No prayer has been wasted, no season lost. The years you thought were barren were the very years I used to deepen your roots of faith. And once the roots grow deep enough, the tree can stand tall against the wind. I have made you strong in the quiet, so that when I lift you up, the glory will endure, not fleeting but everlasting. This light is not only for you, it will shine through you to others. You once walked in the night, and thus you know the ache of loneliness, fear, and longing for hope. Now you will become that very light for those still wandering. When you speak, they will listen, for your words carry the mark of truth tempered by tears and tested faith. When you pray, the earth will tremble, for your prayers will no longer be born of fear, but of power refined in the long night. Do not shrink back when I call you forward. I know you have been hurt, afraid to begin again. But this is not a start from nothing. This is a beginning from foundation refined. I do not build upon ashes, I build upon rock. And because you have walked through ruin, the new house will stand unshaken. From the wreckage I have gathered jewels, patience, compassion, faith, humility, and now I am using them to rebuild you. My beloved, do not fear what you cannot yet understand. No one fully grasps a miracle while it is unfolding. Walk by the light you have step by step. I do not require you to see far ahead, only to trust that your feet stand upon ground I have prepared. As you move, the path will open. As you believe, the miracle will take shape. As you sing, the darkness will retreat. As you stand, all of heaven will uphold you. The winter has passed, the rains are over, and flowers bloom upon the earth. This is my declaration over your soul. The waiting has fulfilled its purpose. Pain has made way for maturity. You are no longer in the night, you are standing in the dawn. My light will guide you, illuminating each step, not with blinding brilliance, but with gentle radiance, so you need not fear. Each morning when you wake, you will feel the warmth of new grace, the fresh mercy that never runs dry. My beloved child, lift your voice in praise, for I am worthy to be exalted, not because you have escaped the trial, but because you have been transformed through it. Thanksgiving is not merely a song on your lips. It is the new rhythm of life flowing through your veins. Everything I do has one divine purpose: to shape you into my likeness. When you love as I love, forgive as I forgive, and walk in peace amid the storm, that is when my light shines most brightly through you. Know this: the night has passed and the day has come. Breathe deeply and feel it. New life is flowing into every fiber of your soul. The weight of fear is gone, the shadow of doubt has lifted. What remains is the gentle light of my presence wrapping around you like a robe of peace. You are mine. You belong to the light. And that light will never fade, for I am its source, the one who still speaks, still loves, and still lives within you. My child, there is no season in your life without meaning. Even the days that seemed stagnant, the years that felt wasted, all rest within the depths of my design. I have written every chapter of your journey with the ink of eternal wisdom. Each line, each word, each turning point is purposed to refine your soul for the destiny I have prepared. You once thought you were waiting for me to act, but it was I who was using the waiting to work within you. Delay is not denial. It is the sacred space where I strengthen what is unseen and lay the foundation for what is to come. If only you could see the way I move, you would cease to fear. Nothing happens by chance. Every person you meet, every door that opens and closes, every path you must walk, all are threads in the grand tapestry I am weaving. You see the underside where knots and tangles confuse the pattern, but I see from above where the design is forming perfectly. And when the moment is right, I will turn it over for you to behold the beauty of what I have made. I know you have asked, why must I take this harder road when there was an easier one? But my child, the path I choose is not always smooth. It is the one that leads to eternal purpose. Some roads are strewn with flowers, yet end in emptiness. The rough road I chose for you leads to the place of fulfillment. Every trial in this season is not meant to break you, but to teach you how to stand, how to trust, and how to walk with your hand in mine. I do not send you into the storm to destroy you, but to train you to find balance in the wind. You cannot learn the strength of your wings until you face the resistance of the air. I have seen the moments you tried to hold steady when no one stood beside you. I have seen the nights you smiled while your heart bled, prayed when you had no words left. And I tell you this, none of it is wasted. Every tear that fell has become the water that nourishes the seed of your destiny. Each time you chose faith over fear, you wrote another line in the story of glory I am telling. This season of testing is not a sign of abandonment. It is evidence that you are being molded to carry the weight of the coming glory. Do not mistake my preparation for delay. Those who are chosen to carry much must spend longer in the fire. A thin cup requires little heat, but a vessel for the temple must be refined again and again, washed and fired until it reflects the light of its maker. You, my child, are such a vessel. I cannot remove you from the kiln too soon, for the flame has not yet completed its work. But trust me, I stand beside the furnace. I will not let the fire exceed your endurance. I know precisely the moment to lift you out, and when I do, you will emerge strong, shining, and ready to hold my glory. Let me tell you plainly, this season has not come to punish you, but to protect you from yourself. There are things in you that I must reshape: impatience, fear, dependence on human approval. I prune these not out of anger, but out of love, because I care too deeply to let them harm you. Everyone I call must walk through a hidden season. Moses in the desert, David among the fields, Elijah in the cave, even my son Jesus, who lived 30 years in obscurity before 3 years of divine radiance. So do not despise your season of concealment. It is the cloak of mercy, the sanctuary where I am laying the foundation for your calling. I know there are times you feel forgotten, but if I allow silence to linger, it is because I am driving your roots deeper into the soil so that when the winds of glory come, you will not be uprooted. If I delay my promises, it is to remind you that grace is never a prize for the hurried, but an inheritance for the faithful. Remember, my child, Noah built the ark for decades before a single drop of rain. Abraham waited years for the promise of a son. Job sat in ashes before he was restored double. Every season of preparation comes with a cost, but that cost is the seed of an extraordinary harvest. My beloved, I have not forgotten my words. I am not too busy to remember you. I am simply completing what must be finished before I release you into the place prepared for you. If I sent you too soon, what you long for could become what wounds you. I love you too much to let you receive blessing before you are strong enough to carry it. So I work patiently, not to hold you back, but to prepare you to go further than you dreamed. When things seem to slow, do not panic. See it as the heartbeat of heaven aligning with yours. You may feel that others have gone ahead, achieved more, been exalted sooner, but your journey is not theirs. You are uniquely crafted, your destiny bears its own design, and your timing is marked by my hand. When your season arrives, the doors will open effortlessly, and you will know it could only have been me. Not by might, nor by power, but by grace. Let your heart rest in this truth. The season of preparation is proof of my love. For I only refine those I call, and I only train those I trust to carry great purpose. If I am working within you, it is because I see in you what you cannot yet see, and I will not stop until that greatness rises to the surface. My beloved child, do not fear when I dismantle the things you once leaned upon. Do not fear when I alter what has long felt familiar. When I prune, I do not take away to leave you empty. I make room for new fruit to grow. When I am silent, it is not because I am far, but because I am teaching you to listen more deeply. When you feel as though you are moving backward, you are actually being set back on course. For there is no path to glory that does not pass through the valley of refinement. This season will not last forever, but it is an essential part of your journey. Every hidden season must one day end, and when the light of revealing comes, others will marvel. How did you stand so long through it all? And you will smile, knowing your secret, that it was never your strength but my presence that held you firm. My child, nothing I take from you is ever truly lost. Every pruning has a sacred purpose, even if you cannot yet perceive it. Pruning is not an act of anger, but a sign of love. I only trim living branches because I see their potential to bear more fruit. If I left them untended, they would grow wild, consuming the life that should have gone to fruitfulness. But when I cut, I release that life to flow where it matters most. So when you feel loss, remember, I am not diminishing you. I am preparing you for abundance. There are things you have considered essential: relationships, work, dreams, positions, even patterns of thought that I have had to remove. You have asked, why would you take what I love? But my child, sometimes I must take what you want in order to give what you need. I must dissolve what is temporary to make room for what is eternal. Like a farmer threshing the grain, I am separating the husk from the kernel within you. The striking may hurt, but life itself is being revealed inside the sound. When I take something away, I never leave the space void. I always fill it with something better, deeper, more enduring. Yet between the taking and the giving, there is a pause, a space that feels like emptiness. That space is where faith is tested, and also where faith grows. In that space, I teach you that true love does not depend on what you possess, but on the one to whom you belong. And once you know that, you will no longer fear to let go, because you will trust that I never remove anything without the intent to replace it with something greater. I have heard your cries of despair. I've lost everything. But I say to you, no, you have not lost. You are being purified. What truly belongs to you will never leave you. If something departs forever, it was never truly yours. And what I have ordained for you, even if swept away by time or storm, I will return, refined, perfected, and radiant with glory. For grace is never lost. It only moves in ways you do not yet comprehend. Remember this, I do not cut to punish, I cut to save. I do not remove to weaken, I remove to make room for blooming. I do not lower you to shame you, but so that when I lift you up, no one will doubt it was my hand. Storms do not come to expose your failure, but to reveal my faithfulness. For it is in the tempest that you see who truly steers the boat. It is in suffering that you feel the depth of mercy, and when you have nothing left to hold, that is when you finally grasp me. My beloved, do not resent the pruning of unfruitful branches. I see what you cannot see. I know paths you have not yet walked. Sometimes I take what you think gives you life, because it is quietly draining your soul. Sometimes I separate you from someone not to make you lonely, but because I know they are keeping you from a greater blessing. You think I cut off, but I am freeing. You think I close doors, but I am opening another way. Remember Abraham. When I asked him to offer Isaac, it was not to rob him, but to test his trust, and to return his son in a deeper covenant. When he lifted the knife, the angel cried, "Do not harm the boy, for I never intended to steal, only to be placed first in his heart." And when he was willing to surrender, I returned not only Isaac, but a blessing for generations through him. So it is with you, my child. When you lay everything on the altar, you will find that I never take without returning, and what I return bears the mark of eternity. This pruning you face is a call to deeper trust. When you have nothing left but me, you will know that I am enough. When you hold nothing else, you will discover what it means to be held. Every loss in me is an investment in eternity. Everything cut away is space prepared for spiritual fruit, and that fruit will not only sustain you, but bring life to others. Do not forget, when I cut, I also heal. When I remove, I also replace. When I empty it, is so I may fill, for only an empty vessel can receive oil. Do not fear emptiness. It is the proof that you are ready for something new. Just as in the story of the widow and Elisha, when the empty jars were brought forth, the oil flowed and did not cease until every jar was full. My child, bring me your emptiness, your unfinished dreams, your unhealed wounds, your unanswered questions. I will fill them with my oil, with joy, for mourning beauty for ashes, and glory for despair. Look back and see, with every pruning you have become freer, lighter, truer. I am teaching you to live untethered from what fades. For when you hold only to me, you will lack nothing. As it is written in Psalm 23, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." That promise is not only for peaceful days, but also for the darkest valleys. So, my beloved, do not let fear of loss keep you from fullness. Pruning is the rhythm of life. It always precedes bloom. Just as the vine is cut in winter to burst forth in spring, you too are being prepared for a spiritual flowering. Every blade I wield is guided by mercy. I never cut without purpose, and I never cut too deep. I remove only what hinders you from receiving the abundance of life. My beloved child, the pruning you endure today is my guarantee of tomorrow's harvest. When you look back, you will see that every cut was a stitch in the garment of redemption. I am sewing your soul together with the thread of grace, each needle passing through pain to form the beauty of one reborn. You will no longer bear wounds, but the marks of restoration. You will not speak with the voice of lament, but with the voice of testimony. And when you stand again, others will know it was I who did this. So do not fear when I prune. Do not resist when I reshape. Let me work within you. For the work I begin in tears will be completed in glory. The season of pruning will not last forever, but its fruit will endure for eternity. And when you look back, you will understand that everything I took away was only a stepping stone toward what is greater, deeper, and everlasting. The season of restoration is near. Everything that seemed lost every year you thought was buried, every dream you believed could never rise again, I am breathing new life into them. Nothing in your life is wasted when placed in my hands. The broken pieces you hold I will fit together into something more beautiful than you could imagine. The wounds you once hid I will turn into marks of glory, for I am the Redeemer, and when I move nothing is ever wasted. I have seen every effort you've made in the hidden season, your quiet faithfulness when no one noticed your sowing in tears without demanding reward. I have counted every drop of sweat, every sleepless night, every unspoken prayer. Not one of them has fallen outside my memory. Every act of faith is written in the eternal record. And now I am opening that book and reading aloud the promises I have appointed for you. My child, it is time for me to restore the years the locusts have eaten. What you thought was lost has merely been in process, returning multiplied beyond measure. Look at Job, who lost everything: his home, his children, his health, his honor. He sat among ashes, body broken and spirit crushed. Yet he did not abandon faith. He said, "Though he slayed me, yet will I trust him." And in the end I restored him double, not only in possessions, but in wisdom, faith, and heavenly glory. So it is with you, my child. There is no trial I cannot redeem. When I restore, I do not return what once was. I give what is new, richer, steadier, rooted in grace. My beloved, there is no failure that can define you within me. I can turn collapse into a launching point, shame into radiance. Look at Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, sold as a slave, falsely accused and thrown into prison. Yet even in that darkness I was at work. When the appointed time came, I lifted him from captivity to command. The journey from pit to palace was not a chance, it was the pathway of grace. And so it is with you, my child. In the place where you thought you failed, I have hidden glory. Every humiliation will become honor. Every tear will be crowned. Release your regrets, they serve no purpose now. I do not want you to keep looking backward, mourning what has passed. I am doing something new. As I spoke through my prophet Isaiah, behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth, do you not perceive it? I am making rivers in the wilderness, roads in the desert paths where none could be seen. I am rebuilding what seemed beyond repair. I am rewriting your story with the ink of mercy, and when I write, no stain from the past can blur the present. Let me wash your soul in the waters of forgiveness. You have condemned yourself for too long. You believed I could not use you again after your failures, but I never chose you for your perfection. I chose you for your tenderness toward me. Your brokenness is the fertile soil where grace grows. Your humility is the field where my glory blooms in fullness. When you bow low, I lift you high. When you confess weakness, my strength becomes complete in you. As Paul said, "When I am weak, then I am strong." I have never regretted choosing you. Even when you wandered, even when you fell, I still saw in you a treasure that could not be lost. Your heart turned toward me. Every time you return, heaven rejoices. Like the father in the story of the prodigal son, I do not wait for your knock. I run to embrace you. I do not rehearse your wrongs. I clothe you in a new robe, place a ring upon your hand, and prepare a feast in your honor. To me, your return is worth far more than your mistakes. So, my child, stop calling yourself a failure. Stop believing that opportunity has passed you by. I am the God of new beginnings. I make flowers bloom from barren soil. I bring the dead to life. There is nothing I cannot restore. Every grave you've dug for old dreams, I am rolling away the stone. You thought it was the end, but I say, come forth. And when you hear my voice, your soul will awaken like Lazarus, rising at the call of my Son. My redemption does more than restore, it transforms. When I give back, I do not return you to what was. but lift you to what is higher, broader, and deeper. You will look back and see that the years of testing did not destroy you. They hollowed your soul to hold more grace. You will love without pride, forgive without bitterness, walk without fear. And you, the one who once faltered, will become my instrument to lift others. Behold, my arm of redemption is still stretched out. It is strong enough to pull you from the depths, yet gentle enough to not wound you. When you place your hand in mine, every invisible chain will fall away. No more accusation, no more shame, no more past. Only freedom, the freedom bought by the blood of the Lamb at the highest price. Rise from the ashes, my child, for ashes are no longer your dwelling place. They are merely the evidence of resurrection. I say to you now, arise and shine. Your light is not your own, it is mine within you. And as you walk in that light, others will see and know me. Your life will be a living witness to the world that I am real, I am good, I redeem, I love. Every trial that once broke you will become the story that strengthens another. Every tear that once fell in despair will become a river of life for others. Let grace cover you like an unending river. Let the waters of mercy wash the dust of the journey from your soul. Let my peace dwell within you like the calm of morning after the storm. The season of testing is over, the season of redemption has begun. And as you walk through it, you will see what once made you fall will now lift you higher. My beloved child, for I, the Lord your God, am not only the beginning but also the finisher. Nothing I start will ever be left incomplete. All that I do moves toward perfection. And you, my beloved one, you are the masterpiece I am bringing to completion. When I look at you, I do not see ruin. I see a future redeemed. When I touch you, I do not touch the wound. I touch the potential for resurrection. When I call your name, it is not a summons to your past, it is the sound of destiny awakening. Listen closely, my child, not one word I have spoken will fall to the ground in vain. Every promise I make carries within it the seed of fulfillment. But that seed needs time to germinate. It needs the soil of faith to take root and the rain of patience to grow. Waiting is not delay, it is part of the miracle. For while you wait, I work. While you think nothing is happening, heaven is moving layer by layer, moment by moment, so that everything aligns at its appointed hour. I do not measure time as humans do. You count by hours, days, and years. I count by purpose, by the maturity of your soul. When you are ready, the season will unfold. When you have learned what must be learned, the promise will bloom like a flower. I am never late. I am always right, on time. Right when you can understand, receive, and keep what I give. If I bless you before you are ready, that blessing might become a burden. But when I give it at the appointed time, it will become a complete joy. Remember Abraham, my friend. I promised that he would be the father of many nations, that his descendants would be as countless as the stars. Yet years passed and the promise remained unseen. He looked at his frail body, at Sarah's silver hair, and his heart trembled with doubt. At times he even laughed at the thought of such a miracle. But I did not forget. I have spoken, and I do not break my word. At the appointed time I opened Sarah's womb, and when Isaac cried his first breath, heaven itself bore witness to my faithfulness. You see, the promise may seem slow in human sight, but in my timeline it is always on time. I allow waiting not to tease you, but to teach you trust. True faith is not proven in the days of receiving, but in the days of believing without seeing. When you stand firm amid silence, you declare that I am more trustworthy than your emotions, that my word is stronger than your circumstances. And when that faith ripens, I will fulfill my promise, not early, not late, but precisely on time. For I am the God of appointed moments. Remember Joseph, the dreamer I chose. As a youth, I gave him visions of power and influence. Yet soon after he was betrayed, thrown into a pit, sold, as a slave, falsely accused and imprisoned. He thought the promise had vanished like smoke, but no, I was still writing his story. In prison I forged humility within him. I taught him service. I opened his eyes to see that true authority flows not from thrones but from faithfulness. When the moment came, I lifted him from the dungeon to the palace in a single day. 13 years of pain became the foundation for 1 hour of glory. So too, my child, I can shift destiny in an instant, but I will not do so until your soul is strong enough to carry the grace I am about to release. My beloved, I know the weight of waiting. I know how it strains the heart and tests the hope within you. There are mornings when you wake and whisper, "How much longer?" There are days you see others blessed while you stand in stillness. But do not compare, for your journey has its own divine rhythm. The promise written for you is unique, inscribed in my book, long before your birth. Every pause, every quiet day is counted. I do not make mistakes. Noah built the ark when there was no rain. For years he obeyed amid ridicule and disbelief. Yet when the first drop fell, the world realized his obedience was not in vain. I taught him that faithfulness in obscurity is the highest form of faith. So it is with you. I am training you to endure when others do not understand. For one day, when my word is fulfilled, those who once doubted you will see that I am faithful. Waiting is not an empty void, it is the classroom of the Spirit. There you learn to focus not on the promise, but on the promiser. You learn to trust my character more than my timing. You discover that the truest blessing is not the fulfillment of your desire, but communion with me. When you love me even before you see results, that love becomes pure. And when it matures, I give you not only what you prayed for, but also myself, the source of every good thing. My child, I am not silent because I've forgotten. I am silent because I am preparing. In my silence, I am arranging people, circumstances, and time so that all will converge perfectly. Some promises require layers of alignment only I can orchestrate. Trust me, for I make all things work together for the good of those who love me. Every turn, even the unexpected, is part of the arithmetic of grace. When you learn patience in faith, you will see that waiting is no longer a burden but a resting place for your soul. You will stop counting days and begin counting mercies. You will no longer ask, "When will it happen?" but instead, "Lord, what are you teaching me today?" And in that sacred moment, waiting will become communion, not with an outcome, but with me. Therefore, do not abandon your post. Stand firm in my word like the watchman awaiting dawn. The night may feel long, but it is not endless. The light is coming, and when it breaks forth, you will see that every minute of waiting was worth it. My delay was never neglect. It was preparation for something far greater than what you asked. For when I give, I do not give according to your request, but according to my design, better, deeper, eternal. My beloved child, I never build anything great in haste. Everything I ordain must pass through a process of formation, just as a seed must rest in the dark soil before it breaks forth into life. No calling is fulfilled without first enduring a hidden season. Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness. David watched sheep for many years in silence. Esther lived quietly in the palace before I set her upon the throne. Each was prepared in solitude, trained in obscurity, so that when the appointed time came, they could carry my glory without being crushed by its weight. Look at Moses. He was born under the shadow of tyranny, when the edict was to slay every Hebrew son. Yet I arranged that he be hidden in a basket upon the river, and that Pharaoh's own daughter would draw him out and raise him. Even in the enemy's house, I protected the child of the covenant. Moses grew up among royalty, learned the language of power, understood law and authority. But when I was ready to use him, I did not call him from the palace, I led him into exile. From prince to wanderer, from power to obscurity, he became a shepherd in the wilderness of Midian for 40 years. There he learned to hear the whisper of the wind more than the noise of the court. Their humility replaced ambition. Only when he had been emptied could I fill him. In that wilderness, amid the burning bush, he heard my voice anew. Do you see, my child, Moses' waiting was not wasted. I used the desert to teach him what palaces never could complete dependence on me. It was in that hidden place that I refined his hearing so he could discern my voice among the silence. And when I sent him back to Egypt, he no longer carried the title of prince, but the mantle of my messenger. Sometimes I too lead you far from what you thought was your place, so that you may know your true worth lies not in where you stand, but in who placed you there. Every hidden season is only a doorway to revealed power. Now look at David, the shepherd boy in Bethlehem's fields. When Samuel came to anoint the next king, all his brothers were called, but David was forgotten. Yet I did not forget. I commanded Samuel to say, "We will not sit until he comes." And when the oil touched his head, I declared him king. But he did not take the throne that day. He returned to the fields, to the sheep, to the quiet. For a promise is not given to grant fame, it is given to shape the heart. David had to learn to hold a harp before he could wield a sword, to conquer in secret before he could reign in public. Through years of persecution under Saul, through nights of hiding in caves, David became a man after my own heart. In those caves he learned mercy instead of revenge. When he had the chance to kill Saul, he said, "I will not lay my hand on the Lord's anointed." That was true faith, trusting me enough not to take matters into his own hands. So when the time came, he stepped into kingship, not through force, but through proven faithfulness. Do not think I have forgotten you when you are hidden. I am preparing you, as I prepared David. If you are in your field, a place unseen, unnamed, unnoticed, know that it is there I am pouring the anointing oil. The lessons you learn in solitude will become the foundation of your calling. I am teaching you to slay lions and bears in private, so that when you face giants in public you will not fear. Those who have conquered in silence will not be shaken before men. Look at Esther, a young orphan girl, powerless, unknown, brought into a foreign king's court, yet even there I was at work. I gave her a favor in the eyes of all who saw her. While the world saw an ordinary woman, I saw a queen destined to save a nation. And when the decree for destruction rose against my people, it was she, once invisible, whom I raised as a deliverer. She said, "If I perish, I perish," and through her courage, I rewrote history. Can you see, my beloved? No waiting is wasted. Every day Esther spent learning customs, every quiet hour in the palace. All of it was preparation for her divine moment. Every detail from her garments to her words was part of my design. So do not despise the seasons you call ordinary or uneventful. Within them I am weaving opportunities. Within them I am laying the groundwork for your influence. Understand this: waiting in my plan is never aimless repetition. Everyone I call must walk through the in-between, the time between promise and fulfillment. That season may be long and heavy with tears, but it is there that I transform you from a receiver of promise into a bearer of promise. In the in-between, I change not your surroundings first, but you. And when you are changed, your circumstances will follow. I am not raising those who seek comfort, but warriors of grace. Every vessel I use must undergo transformation. Moses lost his position, David lost his safety, Esther lost her freedom, yet through it all they gained my likeness. So it is with you. One day you will see this very season is what sets you apart. It is teaching you humility instead of pride, trust instead of control, patience instead of haste. Do not draw conclusions before the story ends. I do not compose the symphony of your life in hurried notes, but in the rhythm of eternity. The low tones are needed to exalt the high. The pauses make way for the crescendo. When you find yourself in the silent part of the song, do not think the music has stopped. The orchestra of heaven still plays, waiting for the precise moment when I will lift the baton and release the triumph. Be steadfast. Moses was called from the bush, David from the fields, Esther from the chamber, and you too will be called from where you stand now. When my voice sounds, everything will change in an instant. But before that moment, let me finish the work of preparation. For no one I send has not first been shaped by my hand. My child, what I have spoken is coming to life. Every word I have declared carries breath within itself, and when the time is ripe, it will come forth on its own. Just as a seed does not need to be urged, only planted in its right season, so my word in your life does not need to be forced, it only needs your faith. Faith is the soil, patience the rain, and hope the light that nourishes the seed of promise until the day it blooms. Beloved, the season of blooming is near. Open your heart, and behold, I am bringing to completion everything I have long spoken over you. My beloved child, I have not forgotten the sound of your tears. What you once mistook for my silence was in truth my preparation. While you waited, I was rebuilding the door, strengthening the foundation, and giving you the endurance you once lacked. Now as you behold the blessing, you will understand what I gave you was not only what you asked for, but what you needed to keep it. Every fulfilled promise is not a reward but a trust, given that you may carry it for a purpose greater than yourself. I never complete a promise merely to satisfy desire, but to glorify my name through your life. I fulfilled my word to Abraham and made him the father of many nations. I fulfilled my word to Joseph, lifting him from prisoner to ruler. I fulfilled my word to Moses, delivering my people from Egypt and parting the Red Sea. I fulfilled my word to David, taking the shepherd boy to the throne and causing his name to be remembered through generations. I fulfilled my word to Esther, turning an orphaned girl into a queen who saved a nation. And I will fulfill my word to you, my beloved, for I am the Lord your God, unchanging, unwavering, eternally faithful. You think a promise is something that will happen, but in truth it begins to unfold the moment I speak it. From the instant I said I will, all of heaven began to move toward you. What you perceive as delay is simply the choreography of divine timing. I am aligning people, places, and events so that every thread interlocks in perfect order. You see the surface. I see the entire tapestry, where every strand of destiny weaves together to serve one good and glorious purpose. When the promise manifests, remember, it is not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter. Every fulfilled word opens the door to the next. I do not bless you so that you may stop, but that you may go further, deeper, and become a vessel in my hand. Look at Joseph. When his dream came true, he did not use the throne for himself, but to save many from famine. Look at David. When he became king, he did not just rule, he established a dwelling for my presence through worship and song. Look at Esther. When she was exalted, she did not forget her people. She risked her life to fulfill the mission I gave her. My beloved, when the promise arrives, I do not desire only your joy, I desire your remembrance. The blessing only carries meaning when you see the giver within it. If you focus on the gift and forget the source, you will lose your way. But if you see me in everything, your blessings will never draw you away from me, they will draw you closer. So when I fulfill my word, let your heart remain soft, like soil after rain, that I may sow even more. Look back on the years gone by. Every tear, every prayer, every moment that felt hopeless, they have all converged into a tapestry of glory. You have been refined in the furnace, and now you emerge not carrying the scent of ashes, but the fragrance of life. The very things that once made you stumble have become the stones beneath your feet. The things that made you weep have become your songs of praise. You have passed through the night, and now you stand in the dawn. The promise was never meant for you alone, but through you. Everything I do in you carries meaning for others. I am making your life a living testimony, so that when others see you, they will say, truly God still moves. When you tell your story, faith will awaken in weary hearts. When you rise from the ruins, others will see that no pit is too deep for grace to reach. When you walk in glory, it will declare that faithfulness is never wasted. Beloved, keep your heart humble. and your spirit awake, for every blessing carries its own test. When I open a door, the enemy will also seek to enter through pride or fear. But do not fear, for I have given you discernment, and my spirit will whisper to you at every turn. Abide in me, for apart from me even good things can become heavy, but in me even burdens turn to glory. When you see the promise fulfilled, kneel and say, Lord, not by my strength but by your grace. That is true worship. When you return the glory to me, I will multiply the blessing. When you place it on the altar of gratitude, I will breathe new life into it and make it overflow. Gratitude opens the door to the next miracle, for thankfulness is the language of heaven. Now rise, my child, and walk in the light of what I have done. Step forward without fear. You have been proven trustworthy. Carry your testimony like a torch shining for the souls who still wait in the dark. Tell them that I am faithful, that not one word from my mouth returns empty. And as you speak, speak with love, for it was love that carried you through this journey. Your waiting has birthed glory. No tears were wasted, no moment forgotten. I have turned it all into the unveiling of my power. You are no longer merely the one who was promised. You are the one who bears the promise. You are not only redeemed, you are commissioned. Go speak love, live, as one who has seen the faithfulness of God. My beloved child, do not let the ashes of the past define you any longer. Shake the dust from your garments and rise from the ruins, for light is breaking forth. I did not call you merely to survive the storm, but to emerge radiant from its wreckage. What you thought was the end is the beginning of something deeper, a life reborn by grace, restored in glory, shaped by an everlasting love that cannot fade. Nothing in me ever truly dies. Everything I touch carries the potential to live again. I raised Lazarus after 4 days in the tomb. I awakened Jairus' daughter from death. I brought my own son out of the grave with eternal power. My child, if that power can conquer death itself, can it not awaken what sleeps within your soul? Do not call those dreams dead. They are only asleep, waiting for my voice. And when I say arise, nothing that I have called to life will remain still. My beloved child, I know the barren years. You have endured the seasons without fruit, the days when hope seemed to wither away. But that season was not wasted. It softened the soil of your heart. It taught you dependence on me instead of on your own strength. It revealed that not everything lost is a loss. Some things must fall away so that new life can take form. Just as a seed must break before it grows, you too have been broken so that new life may spring forth from within you. My child, I am reviving the dry lands within your soul. The dreams you buried in disappointment, I am calling them to rise again. The prayers you thought were forgotten, I am breathing life into them. The places in your heart once sealed by pain, I am opening with healing. As in Ezekiel's vision, I speak to the valley of dry bones. O dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. And the bones came together, tendons and flesh appeared. Breath entered them, and a vast army stood up. So it is with you, my child. I am breathing into your spirit, calling you to rise a living army, filled with my breath, my power, my life. My beloved, I never intended for you to dwell among ashes. Ashes are not your destiny. They are the proof that you have passed through the fire and survived. But I do not want you to sit forever in what has burned. Look now, life is sprouting from the ruins. For I am the God of restoration. I turn ashes into crowns, sorrow into peace, tears into seeds of joy. Your loss was not meaningless. It was the raw material for the miracle that is unfolding. I am causing the seeds of faith to sprout again in your heart. I am replacing bitterness with gratitude, despair with hope, fear with peace. The years of trial did not destroy you, they refined you. You have passed through the fire, and it did not consume you. It purified you like gold. Now the light within you is no longer borrowed. It shines from within, a light proven by endurance and anointed by grace. Step out of the shadows of sin, shame, and pain. I am placing a new robe in your hands as I did for the prodigal son when he returned. This robe is a sign of honor, identity, and belonging. You are no longer a wanderer, you are a child of light. You no longer bow under shame, for I have broken the chains. Let your feet walk upon new ground, land free from accusation, where the dawn of grace spreads wide and warm. Behold, new life is rising in the wilderness. The scorched ground is finding streams again. Flowers are blooming in the desert. I am making the impossible possible, turning wastelands into gardens. You no longer need to struggle just to survive, for you were created to live abundantly. As John 10:10 declares, I came that they may have life and have it more abundantly. I have not forgotten that promise. My beloved, do not cling to ashes, for hands that hold ashes cannot receive blessings. Let go. Letting go is not failure, it is trust. When you open your hands, I can fill them with something new, something you could never receive while holding on to the old. Let me exchange ashes for crowns, mourning for laughter, ruins for peace. For I do not merely mend, I recreate. I do not just heal, I make beautiful. The dark season is over. The old door has closed and a new one stands open, not because you are worthy, but because I am faithful. Not because you are strong, but because I am merciful. Not because you know the way, but because I am the way. Let my light reach the deepest corners of your soul, not to condemn, but to heal. When I call you out of the ashes, I do not simply wipe your tears and send you away. I rebuild from the ground up. What I build never cracks, what I plan never fails. You have lived through a season of collapse, but now I am reconstructing your soul brick by brick of faith, bound together by the cement of grace, sheltered under the roof of love. You will not only be healed, you will be fortified. No storm will bring you down again. When I rebuild, I do not reuse broken material. I am not using what once hurt you to shape you again. I am replacing it with materials from heaven, truth, peace, and trust. You once built your life on fear, on the approval of others, on the fragile trust in yourself. But now I am laying a new foundation upon the rock of my word. You will no longer be shaken by the shifting of circumstances, because your roots will no longer rest in man but in me. When storms come, you will not fall, for your foundation is eternal. I myself, the unchanging one, my child. I am rebuilding the way you see yourself. For too long you have defined yourself by failure, by loss, by the opinions of others. But I am rewriting your story. You are not the sum of your mistakes. You are the proof of redemption. You are not the product of pain. You are the craftsmanship of grace. You no longer bear the names abandoned or unworthy, for I have called you by a new name, beloved, chosen, anointed. As it is written in Isaiah, you shall be called Hephzibah, for the Lord delights in you. And truly I delight in you, my beloved one. Restoration is not a return, it is an ascension. You are not becoming who you once were. You are becoming who I designed you to be from the beginning. What you thought was loss was only the shedding of what was never meant to stay. What you thought was breaking was reshaping. As a potter breaks the flawed vessel to form a perfect one, so I have not been punishing you, I have been perfecting you. For I see the form you do not yet see. I know what you will become, even before you can imagine it. Let me touch the places you have kept closed, the corners of your heart where you still whisper, "Can you still love me?" After all this, I am entering them now with the light of truth. My love is unconditional. It does not fade when you falter, nor vanish when you stumble. It is a flame that never dies, a river that never runs dry. You cannot make me stop loving you. You can only close yourself off from feeling it. Open your heart, my child. Let me love you fully, not because you are deserving, but because you are mine. Beloved, I am healing deeper than the surface wounds. I am touching the memories you've buried, the voices that once made you doubt your worth. I am replacing every lie sown into you with my truth. When the enemy calls you weak, I declare you victorious. When he says your time is over, I say, my plan still stands. When he says you are unwanted, I say I have engraved your name on the palms of my hands. Let this truth echo in your spirit. Nothing, no person, no power, no circumstance can separate you from my love. In all these things you are more than a conqueror through the one who loves you. And my child, I do not heal you merely to ease your pain. I heal you so you may carry healing to others. Your scars will become your testimony. The very places where you once bled will become wells of compassion. I am giving you the oil of joy instead of mourning, the garment of praise, instead of a spirit of despair, so that you may stand among the broken and say, I know he can because he did it for me. And as you speak those words, my power of restoration will flow through you, and others will be healed by the life that now shines in you. My beloved child, I am not rebuilding you to become a copy of anyone else. You are being remade according to the unique design I conceived for you. Do not try to fit into the patterns of this world or live under the weight of others' expectations. When I rebuild, I craft you to be distinct, a voice unlike any other, a mission unlike any other, a mark unlike any other. The sound of your soul carries a frequency heaven recognizes. When you speak, the heavens will answer. When you pray, the earth will move. When you stand, the darkness will retreat for you. Carry my light within you. My work for you is never rushed. It is woven with patience, love, and precision. I overlook nothing. Even the smallest details of your life concern me. Every subtle shift in your attitude, every thought renewed, every act of faith, each one is shaping the new creation you are becoming. And you will come to see that what I am doing for you is greater than what I am doing for you. True blessing is not measured in possessions, recognition, or results, but in a soul renewed one that has learned to rest deeply in the love of its Father. When this process is complete, you will see that the very places where you once broke have become your greatest strength. You will echo the words of Job, my ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you. Restoration is not merely about recovering what was lost. It is about receiving what never existed before: intimacy, peace, and steadfastness in me. My child, I want you to know that my work does not stop at repair. I do not simply mend cracks. I transform essence. From ashes I do not rebuild an old form, I create something new. From a trembling soul I bring forth one aflame with the fire of life, the fire of faith, the fire of love. I do not resurrect you so you can merely live better. I restore you so you can carry my light into places the world has long forgotten. When I call you out of the darkness, I place upon you a flame from heaven. It does not destroy, it refines. It does not consume, it sanctifies. I am breathing into you as I did in the beginning, that you may become a living soul once more. My breath is restoring your spiritual sensitivity, awakening your perception of the kingdom. You will begin to hear more clearly, feel more deeply, and see more truly, not with the eyes of flesh, but with the eyes of faith. Beloved, I am placing within you a new commission. No longer will you be one who merely seeks miracles. You will become a miracle to others. You will not only receive blessings, you will become a blessing. You will not only be comforted, you will bring comfort. Every pain you have endured has purpose. I am turning each one into anointing oil. Every wound you once bore will release the fragrance of healing. When you speak, broken hearts will rise again. When you pray, the heavens will respond. When you walk, barren ground will bloom. For I am in you, and you are in me. Look around, my child, there are souls lying among ashes as you once did. They are waiting for the voice I will release through your mouth. You will be my voice in a silent world. You will be my hands touching where I long to touch. You will be my vessel through which life flows, and you will see that what I do through you will surpass what I have done for you. Do not fear the light, it was made to shine through you. I have cleaned the lamp, replenished the oil, and rekindled the flame, so that you may be a city on a hill that cannot be hidden. Let that light shine, not so people see you, but that they may see me in you. When you love, I am revealed. When you forgive, I am known. When you live, I am glorified. My child, I am restoring to you the voice that fear once silenced. You will speak again, but this time with authority. Not human authority, but the authority of the Spirit. When you speak, your words will carry the weight of heaven. When you pray, the spiritual realm will shift. When you declare, doors will open. For I have placed the sword of my word in your mouth, and it will not return void. I know you have feared to stand believing you are not enough, but it is precisely in that weakness that I pour my strength. It is humility that delights me most. You do not need to strive to be great. You need only to allow my greatness to dwell in you. As Moses trembled when I called him, yet his tongue became the instrument of deliverance. As Jeremiah said, I am but a child, yet I put my words in his mouth. So it is with you, my beloved. Do not look at your own ability. Look to the one who sends you. My beloved, I am opening a new path before you, not a road of fear or doubt, but a road of light. Wherever you walk, your steps will leave traces of anointing. When you pray, the heavens will stir. When you touch, life will flow. Not because you are extraordinary, but because you are made new. Every old chain has been broken, every curse annulled, every voice of accusation silenced. Now only one voice remains within you. Mine. You are the one I have chosen. Rise now as a victor. You are no longer a fugitive. You are one who is sent. No longer ashes. You are flame. No longer fearful. You are a bearer of good news. Clothe yourself in the mantle of light, for you are called to reflect my glory on the earth. I will cause the light within you to spread wherever you go, from cities to wilderness, from hidden corners to open places. You will be living proof that grace is stronger than sin and that life is stronger than death. My beloved child, believe that the new thing within you will not fade, for I have not only given you a new beginning, but a new nature. You no longer bear the form of the old self, you carry the imprint of heaven. My breath is in you, and wherever you go, the atmosphere will change. I have not restored you merely so you may live, but so you may bring life to places that have died. True light does not tremble when darkness draws near. Darkness cannot extinguish it. It can only reveal it more clearly. So do not fear the challenges that lie ahead. They are only opportunities for your light to shine brighter. Every trial will become the stage for a miracle. Every obstacle will become the doorway through which my power enters. I have poured into you what I desire the world to see: mercy, strength, and the light of my kingdom. You are my lamp in the night, my messenger in a thirsty world. Shine, love, speak, and live. For I, the one who called you from the ashes, am walking with you every step, every breath, every heartbeat. The light within you is not meant to burn for a moment, but to burn forever. The flame I have kindled in you will not go out, for I myself am the oil that never runs dry. Take it and carry it to barren places, to cold hearts, to lands that have never seen dawn. Let the world see the light and know that God still lives, still saves, still renews. My beloved, now is the time for me to speak of the covenant between you and me, a covenant not written in ink but in fire, not signed by human hands but sealed by the Spirit. This fire is not kindled upon an altar of stone, but within your very heart. Because you have walked through the fire of testing, I now place within you the fire of calling. This flame will not die, for I am the oil that never runs out. It will burn endlessly, illuminating where I send you, warming those whose hearts have grown cold and consuming the falsehoods that hide truth. This covenant is not a mere promise, it is a union between my will and your heart. When you say yes, you permit heaven's purpose to flow through you. I no longer call you a survivor, but a bearer of authority. not because you seek glory, but because you were chosen to reflect mine. Everything you have endured, your tears, your breaking, your loneliness, your silence, was preparation for this very moment, the moment I lay my hand upon you and say, "Go, for I am sending you." Remember this, my child, every true commissioning is born out of covenant. Not a covenant of flesh, but of spirit. Just as I made a covenant with Abraham and said, "I will make you a blessing to many nations," so I now speak that same word over you. You will be a blessing not by possessions, but by presence. Where you go, I go. When you speak, my spirit will speak through you. When you touch others, they will feel the breath of life. This is not a burden, but a privilege to carry within you the fire of heaven. I know you have thought yourself too small to do great things, but I do not choose by stature, I choose by surrender. Moses said, "I am slow of speech, yet I used him to deliver nations." Jeremiah said, "I am only a child, yet I placed my words in his mouth." So it is with you, beloved. I chose you not because you are strong, but because you are willing. I do not need your perfection, I desire your obedience. As you step forward, grace will fill your gaps, and my power will flow through the very places you thought were weakest. My child, a covenant is not just a promise, it is a union. I do not stand far above you, commanding from a distance. I am in you, with you, and through you. When you weep, I weep. When you fight, I fight. When you triumph, I rejoice. This covenant is an unbreakable bond, untouched by circumstance or opposition, for it was signed in the blood of my Son. No power in heaven nor on earth can erase it. Everything you learned in the darkness will become your weapon in the light. Every tear you shed will become a seed for harvest. Every scar you carry will become proof of my healing power. I am placing into your hands the torch of divine mission. It is not a human flame, but fire taken from the altar of heaven. When you lift it high, the darkness will flee. Let your heart be the altar where the fire of covenant never ceases to burn. Do not let fear quench it, nor let the noise of the world drown its flame. Feed it with my word, with prayer, with stillness before me. For when this fire burns bright, you will see your path clearly. When it radiates warmth, you will be safe amidst the cold. And when it blazes high, you will become a beacon for others to follow. Remember the altar of Elijah when fire fell from heaven upon the sacrifice. That fire did more than consume the offering, it confirmed my presence. So it shall be with you. When the fire of covenant burns within you, the world will know you do not speak your own words, but words from above. They will not look upon you with pity, but with awe, for they will recognize that I am in you. Do not forget, beloved, that every covenant carries a sacred charge. It was not given merely to protect you, but to position you for my greater purpose. I am calling you to rise beyond personal boundaries and become a vessel of spiritual influence. You will no longer live for yourself, but for the kingdom. You will no longer speak from emotion, but from revelation. You will no longer walk by sight, but by faith. And as you do, I will open doors no one can shut, and close doors no one can open. This is your covenant of fire, sealed, unshakable, eternal. Go forth, my beloved one, and let the flame within you testify that heaven still breathes through human hearts. My beloved child, this covenant cannot be broken. Even when you are weak, I remain strong. Even when you forget, I remember. Even when you lose your way, this covenant will lead you home. And every time you kneel before me, the flame reignites. For I did not seal this covenant only in the light, I sustain it in the darkness, so that you may always know my love never fades. Look back, my child, at where I have brought you from ashes to light, from pain to glory, from silence to purpose. None of it was random. Every step led to this moment, the moment I declare, "You are mine and I am yours." That is covenant. That is the flame that cannot die. That is my eternal seal upon your life. My child, a covenant is not merely a promise. It is the beginning of a commission, and no one I send is sent unprepared. I never send you to the battlefield empty-handed. Every lesson, every hardship, every silent night was part of divine training. You thought you were only enduring, but in truth you were being equipped. I taught you to listen in stillness, to trust in the fog, to remain faithful when the path was hidden. Now all that you learned in secret will become your weapon in the light. I have placed within you 3 treasures like jewels upon the armor of the one who is sent: wisdom, discernment, and compassion. Wisdom to keep you from being deceived by appearances. Discernment to recognize my voice among the noise. Compassion to touch others without judgment, for you have known what it means to be forgiven. These 3 will set you apart. For those who are sent do not fight with swords but with truth. They do not conquer through power but through love. They do not persuade with arguments but through the presence of the Holy Spirit. I did not choose you to fulfill another's assignment. I chose you for a mission written uniquely into the fabric of your soul. There are melodies only you can release into the world, for the sound of your spirit carries the frequency I placed within it. When you pray, heaven listens differently. When you sing, darkness trembles. When you stand, the powers of evil retreat, not because of your greatness, but because of my anointing upon you. And that anointing is no mere symbol. It is reality, the evidence that my power has taken residence within you. Anointing is not born in calm days, but in broken ones. Oil flows from olives that have been crushed. Likewise, your seasons of sorrow have produced the oil that now fills your vessel. Each time you chose forgiveness over bitterness, oil flowed. Each time you chose faith over fear, oil flowed. Each time you knelt instead of collapsing, oil multiplied. And now your jar is full. When I pour it out, it will spread not only upon you but through you, touching every life I intend to reach. You ask, am I ready? But remember, readiness is not born of knowledge, it is born of surrender. When you stop trying to control, I can fully lead. When you release your grip, I take hold. When you are weak, I am strong within you. Do not wait until you feel ready, for if you wait for that feeling, you will never move. I do not require perfection to use you. I require willingness so that I may perfect you along the way. I am placing upon your shoulders the mantle of commissioning. It is not a robe of human honor, but of divine responsibility. It has weight, yet it does not crush. It carries power, yet it breeds humility. When you wear it, you will walk differently. Your words will carry the weight of heaven. Your gaze will radiate life. Your smile will become a prophecy to weary souls. Walk gently, for this mantle shines brightest when you know it is not yours but mine, placed upon you for a time such as this. Beloved one, those who are sent do not avoid trials, they overcome them through faith. The enemy will strike where you were once wounded, thinking those scars are weakness. But I tell you, those scars are where my strength is revealed. What once made you fall will now anchor your victory. The places where you once wept will become your wells of blessing. The enemy cannot destroy what I have sealed. All it can do is watch and tremble as you rise in the power of covenant. Remember this, no true calling is walked alone. I am not sending you by yourself. I have prepared companions, souls who carry the same light and frequency of heaven. When you meet them, your spirit will know. They come not to compete but to confirm, not to lead but to unite. In my kingdom, no one is sent alone. Each carries a spark, and together those sparks become a blazing torch. In the days ahead, you must learn this sacred rhythm, how to keep the fire without letting it consume you. This means learning to rest in me, even while working for me. The mission is not a burden, it is a flow. When you move in me, you will not burn out. When you speak from communion, your words will not be empty. When you serve through love, you will never run dry. Let everything you do spring from your rest in me, for true strength is not born of effort but of union. Go forth, my beloved. You carry the covenant of fire, the oil of anointing, and the mantle of light. The heavens bear witness, and all creation waits to see what I will do through you. My beloved child, I am forging for you a new pair of wings, wings of faith and trust. They are not heavy, yet they are strong. They will carry you through storms, across valleys, and into places no one has ever been. When the winds rise against you, do not fear, it is that very wind that will lift you higher. And when your wings tremble, remember it is not you who holds yourself up, but I who hold you. True commissioning is not about going far, but going deep, deep into my will, deep into the hearts of people, deep into the flow of my spirit. Wherever you go with love, there is mission. Wherever you walk in obedience, there is victory. And wherever the flame of covenant burns within you, heaven and earth meet. Now stand up, for the hour of your sending has come. The days of hiding are over. The gates of heaven are opening, and the light of the covenant is shining upon you. I am drawing near to breathe new life into your soul, as I once breathed into Adam at the dawn of creation. This breath does more than give life, it bestows authority. It carries the fire of kingship, the strength of the Spirit, and the seal of heaven. My child, I am making you a bearer of flame, not to keep for yourself, but to ignite generations still asleep in the shadows. Stretch out your hands, for I am placing into them the scepter of authority. It is not a visible object, but a spiritual power that flows from your union with me. When you speak, heaven will listen. When you declare, the earth will tremble. When you pray, the heavens will respond. For I, the God of covenant, have sealed you with oil, with breath, and with fire. From now on, your words will not be empty. They will carry creative force, just as when I said, "Let there be light." My beloved, I am marking your forehead with the seal of your commission. It is a sign to the spiritual realms that you belong to me, covered, protected, and sent in my name. No power can cross that seal. It is like a wall of fire encircling your soul. When you walk through darkness, the night will recognize and retreat. When you speak, my name, chains will break. When you stand firm in covenant, no enemy can harm you. For I, the Almighty, am your shield, your glory, and the consuming fire that goes before you to prepare the way. I am passing to you the echo of divine power, a power not born of position or praise, but of deep union between your spirit and mine. When you pray, you do not merely speak to heaven, you speak with heaven. When you act, you do not work for me, you work with me. When you love, you do not simply show kindness, you reveal my very nature. This is true authority, not in the sword or the speech, but in love that serves and faith that surrenders. I am opening your eyes to see a new reality where covenant is no longer a concept but a living breath. You will see angels going before you, clearing paths through crowds. You will sense walls falling that once kept hearts closed. You will realize that every meeting, every place your feet touch carries purpose. Nothing is random. I am guiding each step within a grand design you can see only in part. But trust, for I have written that story in light and sealed it with the blood of an eternal covenant. Do not fear the places to which I send you. There will be barren lands, hardened hearts, and walls that seem impenetrable. Yet you do not go empty-handed. You carry the weapons of heaven, the Word, the Spirit, and love. When you speak the word, it will pierce like a double-edged sword. When you pray, it will tear through the clouds. When you love, it will melt the hardest stone. You do not fight with human strength, but with the armor of light. Remember this: wherever I send you, my grace arrives before you. You do not go to prepare the way for me. I have already prepared the way for you. Before you step forward, I have sent angels to ready hearts, to open doors, to align the times. So do not fear to move. Even when you see no path, remember I am the way. When you do not understand the plan, remember I am the plan. When you feel small, remember I dwell within you, and I have never failed. My beloved child, I give you the authority to speak to mountains just as Jesus told his disciples. If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, "Move from here to there," and it will move. That faith does not rest in words alone, but in knowing that the one who commands the sea and wind lives within you. When you believe this, your words become creative instruments. When you proclaim, reality will shift to align with my decree spoken through your lips. I am giving you the feet of the gospel of peace, feet that will carry you into places others fear, to tread sowing seeds of hope. Every step you take will leave imprints of light. Every person you meet will carry a touch of my presence. I will make your life a melody, and the world will hear it, even when you do not speak aloud. For the fire within you burns not only through words, but through actions, through your gaze, through your breath, through the holy presence I now impart to you. I am teaching you how to walk as one who carries authority, not bowed in shame nor lifted in pride. You will walk as a bearer of light, knowing that the light is not yours, but mine entrusted to you. As you go, look upon every soul through my eyes, not with judgment, but with mercy. For I am not sending you to condemn, but to call. Not to expose sin, but to heal wounds. Not to divide, but to restore. Now go, beloved one, fly with the wings I have forged, walk with the authority I have placed upon you, and shine with the light that cannot fade. For the world waits for the sons and daughters of covenant to rise, and heaven itself will go with you. My beloved child, I am completing what I began in you. From the fire of testing you stepped into the fire of covenant, and from the fire of covenant you now step into the fire of commission. This fire will burn until your journey is fulfilled. Do not fear change, for every door that closes opens a new path. Every season of transition carries fresh anointing. Every challenge expands your influence, and every breath you draw from me carries a fragment of heaven touching the earth. Lift up your eyes, for the dawn of a new season is breaking. The night has passed, and the first light is falling upon those who have remained faithful. This is the appointed time I promised long ago, the time of triumph, of harvest, of fulfillment. You have walked through fire, through waters, through valleys and storms, and now you are standing upon the summit of promise. All that once made you weep will now sing with joy. The seeds sown in tears will blossom into songs of harvest. I, the Lord of covenant, am turning ashes into glory, sorrow into praise, and what once seemed an ending into a radiant new beginning. Do you hear it, my child? The heavens are filled with the sound of victory. Angels are joining in the symphony of my faithfulness revealed. Your name is being sung not because you are great, but because you remained steadfast in the small things. You did not abandon faith when everything collapsed. You did not turn away when my promises felt distant. And now, like Joseph, after years in prison, you are stepping out of the shadows of delay into the light of fulfillment. I am opening doors no one can shut, preparing a table before you in the presence of your enemies, and pouring oil upon your head until your cup overflows. This is not merely a season of blessing, it is a season of fruitful mission. Blessing is not a reward, but a tool. Everything I give you now carries purpose, that you might become a channel of grace. As Abraham was blessed to be a blessing, so too are you. You are given abundance that you might share. You are lifted up so you may lift others. What I do in you will now flow through you. For your victory is not just your own, it is a testimony for a generation that seeks me. Remember, true victory is not measured by outward success, but by inward transformation. Victory is when your heart no longer trembles before the storm, when you can smile in the midst of wind and rain, when your faith no longer depends on circumstances, but rests in the unchanging one. You have become steady like a tree planted by streams of water. Though winds blow and storms arise, your leaves remain green. In that quiet faithfulness I delight. Every step you take is a note in heaven's grand symphony. When you praise, the heavens respond. When you give thanks, the universe moves in harmony. For I have placed within you the spirit of a conqueror, not a survivor, but one who overcomes through love. Your victory does not come by destroying, but by restoring, not by taking, but by giving, not by standing above others, but by lifting them up. I am granting you a holy harvest, one not only of provision, but of souls. You will reap the joy that you sowed in pain. You will see prayers once buried like seeds in dry soil bloom into fullness. Those you interceded for, the hearts you loved, the lands you wept over, all will bear fruit, for no prayer ever falls to the ground unheard. I have kept every tear, every whisper, every plea, and now they are becoming showers of blessing upon your field of harvest. Remember Israel as they crossed the Jordan. For 40 years they wandered hungry, weary, tested, but when the time came, the waters parted, the ground appeared, and they entered the promised land. So it is with you. You have endured your desert. You have persisted through unseen years. But now you are stepping into the land I swore to give, the land flowing with milk and honey, where promise takes form and faith becomes sight. Walk with gratitude, for this land is not merely soil, it is your divine inheritance. My beloved, I have waited for this moment with you. For every time you persevered, I was patient. Every time you wept, I grieved. Every time you believed, I acted. Now my joy is to see you stand strong, your spirit radiant, your inner flame brighter than ever. I rejoice over you as a father over a child returning from battle, hands full of victory, heart full of peace. So sing, beloved. Lift up your voice in praise. Dance in the Spirit. Let your laughter echo as testimony that God still works wonders. You are no longer one waiting for the promise, you are one living in it. You are no longer asking when, you are declaring now. And now is the hour of fulfillment, of triumph, of glory. My child, victory does not end the moment you enter the promise, it begins when you become the flow of that promise. For I did not call you merely to receive, but to give, not to stop, but to overflow, not to be exalted, but to exalt me. When I blessed Abraham, I did not end with him. I caused that blessing to flow through him into every generation. And now, my child, that same blessing flows through you, like a river from my throne, carrying life to every place it touches, my beloved child. The blessings you see today are not a reward for effort, but the fruit of covenant. You did not earn them by merit, you received them through surrender. I do not require you to be worthy, I make you worthy by grace. And as you walk in that worthiness, my glory will shine through you like light passing through clear crystal. You will become a mirror that reflects the light of heaven, adding nothing, subtracting nothing, distorting nothing, only reflecting perfectly who I am. When my light pours through you, the world will be illuminated. The wounded will find healing when you draw near. The barren will be revived when you speak. The hopeless will recover hope when you pass by. Not because there is anything special in you, but because you have chosen to let me move through you. You are not the lamp, you are the conduit. You are not the spring, you are the hidden channel I use to pour forth water. When you relinquish your own will, the flow is unhindered. When you let me reign, life overflows. My child, I am calling you into a profound union between heaven and earth. You will no longer see a line between spiritual life and daily life, because when I live in you, every moment becomes holy. When you speak, your words can carry healing. When you work, your hands can build the kingdom. When you listen, your heart can become a resting place for another soul. For when I dwell in you, you become the place where heaven touches earth. Beloved, let your life become a living altar, not of dead sacrifices, but of acts of love, words, seasoned with grace and thoughts that reflect my kindness. As you live this way, the very world around you will be sanctified, simply because you are there. For I am in you. Therefore, wherever you stand becomes holy ground. When you enter a room, the atmosphere will change. When you speak, fear will dissolve. When you pray, the wall between heaven and earth will grow thin, for I will come and dwell in the midst. Remember, true triumph is not that you are exalted, but that I am exalted through your life. When you kneel amid the shouts of praise, when you remember that the glory is mine and not yours, then I entrust you with even more. Glory cannot rest upon a proud soul. It settles only on gratitude. Keep your heart soft, like good soil welcoming rain. When I pour out more, do not close open wider. When I lift you up, do not forget to bow low. And when I work wonders, do not say I did this, but God has done it. My child, I am making you a sign of the kingdom upon the earth. You are a reminder that heaven's realm is near, not a vague hope, but a present reality moving through those who believe. When you love, you bring the kingdom to where you stand. When you forgive, you open heaven's gate for another soul to enter. When you choose peace over strife, you build a piece of heaven in the midst of the world. This is the victory the world cannot grasp, the victory of the humble, the servant, the soul that lives for something larger than itself. I know you once thought victory meant every wound healed, every dream fulfilled, every promise accomplished. But true victory goes deeper. It is when you know that I am the prize, when you seek not outcomes, but me, when you praise not only because I give, but because I am, when you realize that even if nothing else were added, having me is enough. This is the victory of the soul, the victory that makes hell tremble and heaven rejoice. Walk through this season as a bearer of light, not to prove yourself, but to shine. Let every word you speak be a seed, every deed a gentle rain, every embrace an unspoken prayer. For now you no longer live for yourself. You live for an unseen yet mighty kingdom, growing in the earth, sprouting in human hearts. And each breath you draw from me, each heartbeat in union with me declares that heaven's kingdom is near. Your triumph does not end with a song. It continues in the giving of life. For you are not only a witness of glory, you are a bearer of glory. I have turned you from the one who endures into the one who pours, from the rescued into the rescuer, from the one waiting for miracles into the one through whom miracles are made. You are living proof that the kingdom of heaven is present wherever a heart believes and loves. Now when all has been spoken, when the fire has refined, when your tears have been wiped away, know that the journey does not conclude, it opens. My covenant does not stop at victory, it spreads as life. From ashes I have brought forth new growth. From trial I have brought forth strength. And now from within you I will send forth the light of the kingdom, a light that will not go out, for it springs from me. You have not merely stepped out of an old season. You have entered the eternity of union. All that I have spoken has been and is being fulfilled. Your tears offered in secret have become jewels that reflect my glory. Your solitary prayers have become a chorus, resounding in the courts of heaven. Every mark upon your soul now shines like the glorious scars upon the body of Christ, proof that love is stronger than death, grace greater than sin, and light victorious over all darkness. You are no longer only redeemed, you are united with the source of life. My child, I give you peace, not the peace the world gives, but the peace of heaven. It does not waver in turmoil, does not shatter in storms, does not fade amid noise. This peace is me within you. Henceforth, wherever you go, you will carry heaven's presence. When you speak, others will feel a peace they cannot explain. When you pray, invisible doors will open. When you grow still, the very atmosphere will change. For I have set within you the seal of eternity, and no power can remove it. I do not speak to you only for today. I speak to the generations that will come from you. Every word I plant in your heart will become a holy inheritance, a river flowing through time to refresh souls not yet born. They will hear your voice and recognize mine. They will read your story and find themselves within it. They will know that God still acts, still loves, still restores. For your life will be more than a testimony. It will be a torch passed down the line. Receive then this final blessing. I give you eyes, to see the invisible, ears, to hear the songs of heaven, hands, to touch the broken, and feet, to carry peace where it has not yet come. I give you the heart of a shepherd, to love, to weep, to endure, to wait, to forgive. I give you the breath of creation, that your words may carry life. I give you the crown of steadfastness, that you will not be shaken when the world shifts. And I set upon your brow the seal of royal authority, that every power might know you are mine, chosen, protected, and sent. Stand in the light of the covenant. Behold, the angels surround you, bearing fresh flasks of oil. The heavens open, and I, the Eternal One, speak blessing over your life. The flame I have kindled in you will never die. It will burn on lighting not only one season, but many generations. I will make your name a song of grace, and your story a letter written by the Spirit, read by multitudes. Live in peace, walk in power. Say to your own heart each morning, I am my beloved's, and he is mine. Let every day be a hymn of gratitude, every night a whisper of praise. For now you have entered the season of union, where your soul is no longer divided from heaven's will, where you and I walk, speak, and act as one. My beloved, let these final words be engraved upon your soul. I have not only saved you from the past, I am calling you into eternity. I have not only lifted you from the ashes, I am setting you within the fire of glory. I have not only rewritten your story, I am writing you into my everlasting story. You are not sent for a season only, but for the unending spread of light. My child, go not in fear, but in faith, not in weakness, but in glory, not in darkness, but in everlasting light. For I who have called you will go before you, will go with you, and will dwell within you, until all is fulfilled and light covers everything. I bless you, I surround you, I rejoice over you, and I declare you are mine forever. Thank you for listening to today's message. Subscribe and turn on notifications so we can receive the living word together, build unshakable faith, and walk in the boundless love of the Lord. Amen.